we live in an information age, Witness, whereby there's a lot of information online about property, investments, and business. So I want to know, how do we filter? Because this is a platform as well that contributes to a whole lot of information that is online. There's a lot of misinformation as well. There's pending topics like, is a house an investment? Is buying property an investment or not? There's things like that. There's a lot of information. How do we filter such information so that we get the value out of that information? Also to note that you are a mentor. You are online mentoring people. You mentor people also in a physical space. So how do we make sure that we get the right content and we get the right knowledge, and so that we can apply it properly?
That's a good question, because of course information is everywhere. That's why I always say that anyone that says I can't do anything because I don't have the information, they are practically lazy. We live in an information age. But with information being there, one has to choose the one that resonates with them. Maybe the source of the information must resonate with you. I mean, you can have 100 people speaking about the same thing, but there'll be that one person that says it in a manner that you can understand. That is the person that you must actually listen to. And also, not only to them, in my opinion, maybe 3-4 other people that might be saying the same thing, so that you can compare what your sources of information are saying. It's like when you write a research, right? And those of you who've done masters or who've had a research methodology to do, you don't just post one source. You'll have a couple of sources that you've checked for you to be able to have your thesis in place. So that is how we filter information, to say, okay, who's your source? I've got this source, I've got this source, I've got that source, I've got that source. My conclusion out of all these sources that I've had is, so you need to be able to take information and put it in your own words, right? To say, this is what Witness said, this is what Robert Kiyosaki has said, but Robert is American, Witness is South African. They might be saying the same thing, but how do I take that and put it in a manner that I, as so-and-so, understand?
Okay. Oh, great. Okay. I wanted to today to also go deeper into. I will quote some of the things that you like saying. You normally give us a background about yourself and how you got into the property business, and you go a lot into the how part. When we attend seminars or we listen to motivational speakers, you don't like to be called a motivational speaker.
Me, you can call me whatever I understand. Whether you call me motivational speaker or property guy
or influencer.
Yeah. I know I'm Witness Mdaka.
Yeah. So you attend seminars, you listen to motivational speakers. They will just give you a highlight of how to be successful or how to make money or how.
Let's ask you a question. Let's do this. Did you guys get a highlight today? Was it motivation or was it practical?
To college, yeah, man, probably to come further.
Or both, or motivational
and practical, yes.
So I'm a motivational speak.
Yeah. So basically, that is what we are here for. I wanted to tell us about the Airbnb portfolio. I know we've done a business, you and I, before.
Yes.
Yeah, we have done that kind of business before. But can you just give somebody today who says, I'm interested
to start Airbnb?
How do I start? Give them, just take a few minutes and give them the how part. Because I believe we are as practical as possible today.
Okay. I think the most important thing first is to understand that to do Airbnb, you don't necessarily have to buy a property. People think that because I want to do Airbnb, I must buy a 500,000 rands apartment or a 900,000 rands apartment. Whereas today, after hearing this conversation on Monday, you can go look for an apartment to rent. But the strategy would be, are you targeting people that are traveling for work, or are you targeting people that are traveling for leisure? There are certain areas, no matter how much you want to make it a leisure business, to target that sort of audience, it will never give you that kind of clientele. So you must decide, are you doing the Airbnb for work or are you doing the Airbnb for people that are traveling for leisure? You can rent that apartment depending on whether the body corporate or the landlord allows you to do that kind of business. So that's your homework. You must find out, do they do that sort of thing in this apartment that I want to do the Airbnb in? What do the body corporate rules say? Who can I speak to from the body corporate to confirm what I want to do? Now, some agents will say, no, the landlord is not going to allow that, right? But you can apply the same strategy you applied a couple of years ago and say, but I'm not going to give you 6,000 rent if your rent is 6, I'll give you 8.
Yeah.
That speaks to the landlord to say, even if I myself as a landlord, I'm not doing Airbnb at my property, but at least I'm making 2,000 rents more than I would have made from a normal tenant that is staying in my apartment, right? But it's also you being able to say, I've got the rent money, I've got the deposit, and just like that, I can start operating my Airbnb. Of course, you must be able to buy furniture.
Yeah.
You must be able to get someone who does interior decor to come stage that furniture. Luckily for me, we talked about collaboration. My partner is good with interior decor.
Yeah.
Right? And for us, the difference was we already had a property investment portfolio. So we just built a new company that only does management of Airbnbs. So that company rents our properties from us.
Yeah.
And operates as an Airbnb business. But that company also must pay rent.
Yeah. And
Main company.
the other advantage as well is the landlords are looking at the property being well looked after.
Yeah.
So if there is an Airbnb there, you as the one who's operating the Airbnb, you will make sure that the property is upkeep. Because for your guests, you do the maintenance. So I as a landlord, I'm not worried about there'll be broken lights and broken cupboards and all that, because in that space, you keep the property well. So I think there is a gain for the landlord in that, and also that they get more rental than normal. So the rates can be a little bit higher. So the landlords are not opposed to that. They're actually welcoming that, provided their body cooperates and the regulations allow that.
So there's something that they say in the commercial property rental space, that when you're a landlord to a commercial or a business person, they want to make sure that the property is well taken care of so that they can continue to attract clients. So an Airbnb tenant or someone who's doing short-term rental basically is someone that's operating a business from that property. And I'm echoing what you're saying to say, as a landlord, they'll be looking at that aspect. In fact, I never thought about that. So thank you for bringing that up to say, when you look at that, you realize this guy is going to be taking care of the property because he needs people to book the place. If the wall is dirty, he's going to paint it. If the ceiling is broken, he's going to fix it. Because if he doesn't fix it, then people are going to give him bad reviews for his business. So that's the guy that's going to make sure that your property, and for those of you who are landlords, maybe here, and someone wants to say, look, I want to rent your property, I want to do Airbnb, you just give them the opportunity to do that, because you know that guy will even paint your apartment up front